What's up guys, and welcome back to Stutter Solutions, and unlike your dad that left for milk, I am back. Call of Duty has brought out a couple of new updates, and then also the GPU drivers has brought out updates as well in the time span that I've been gone. Ladies and gentlemen, I have been sick for the past couple of days, the past couple of weeks, and I have not been well. I am back though, and I am here to help the people out there that needs this. A lot of people have sent me personalized emails and messages saying, yo dude, can you please make another video because I'm struggling with this game. Now today I'm going to help every single person out there as best I can. It doesn't matter if you're running a mid tier to a low tier to a high tier, whatever tier machine you are running right now. I'm here to help the whole entire Warzone community as best I can. Now, ladies and gentlemen, if you are running your game through Battle.net itself, Battle.net has done an update, your GPU drivers has done an update, and Call of Duty itself has done updates in the time span that I haven't uploaded videos. But I'm back, like I said, and I'm here to help the Warzone community. Alright, so let's jump through the first couple of steps on Windows itself, and then jump through the game settings that you can use to have a smooth gameplay experience. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, let's jump through a couple of steps on Windows itself before we head into the game itself. Let's jump through these settings over here. You're going to right click on your desktop and open up Nvidia control panel if you are an Nvidia user like me. You're going to come over here where it says adjust image settings with preview, and make sure that your thing says use the advanced 3D image settings, and click on take me there. It's basically just going to take you to manage 3D settings over here, and you're going to come inside here. Now, I've seen a lot of videos on YouTube in the past couple of days of me not doing work or me not uploading in general. I've seen a lot of people actually changing a lot of things inside here to the wrong things. Okay? Now, if you've watched those videos and you copied those settings and you're still having problems, it's because it's completely incorrect. The things inside here plays a very, very big role for your game. Do not just go and follow any single person that's making a video on Nvidia control panel settings. Please don't do that. There's a lot of people that don't know what's going on inside here. Okay, you can go back to my previous videos. I explain each and every one of these things and what they do. Okay, I'm not going to do it again. All you need to do is copy these settings. So pause my video, copy every single thing that's inside here for global settings. The reason why I do global settings is because it will help for every single game that you are playing, not just Call of Duty Warzone 2. It will help for every game you are playing. That's why I don't go to program settings and select Warzone. I actually do the global settings because it helps for every single game that you're going to be playing. It helps for me, and I'm 100% sure it's going to help for you. All you're going to need to do is copy all of these settings, follow my guidelines, and make sure you have all of these settings exactly the same as mine, and you should be good to go. Right, from here, you're going to go to config, surround, and physics over here, and then select your dedicated graphics card. Now, a lot of people get this confused. Okay, I'm just going to explain it for you. Auto select, I do not recommend. If you have a dedicated graphics card, you're going to select your dedicated graphics card. The only reason why you would select CPU is if you have an APU unit. An APU unit means you do not have a dedicated graphics card plugged into your PCIe slot. Okay, so basically, you have an APU unit. You have only a CPU that has onboard graphics built into the CPU itself. This is the only reason why you would select CPU, and I would not recommend saying auto select. You're going to select your dedicated graphics card if you have one, like most people do, and say apply over here at the bottom. From here, you're going to go to adjust desktop color settings, and this plays a very big role in the color and depth of the game and how it looks in color in the game itself. And this is going to help for every single game that you are playing, not just Call of Duty Warzone. From here, you're going to go to brightness, 50%, because you're going to change the brightness in all your games in general once you launch it. You don't need to do it inside here, because otherwise the game is going to be too bright, or whatever the case might be. Keep it on 50%, which is its default. From here, you're going to go to contrast and keep this at 65%. It doesn't matter if you're running a display on a laptop, a gaming monitor, a normal monitor, a TV, it doesn't matter. Keep this at 65%. It's a sweet spot for every single game that's out there. Right? Gamma at 1.00, and then here your digital vibrance at the bottom. Keep it at 90% or 95%. You can also do 80 to 85%. That's all good. You can go all the way up to 100%. It's your own personal preference. Just make sure you click on image 3 and then actually move it around, and you can see how it becomes black and white, and you can see the digital vibrance climb up once you put it on your own sweet spot. My sweet spot has been 95 ever since this game came out, and I've always left it here. And then you're just going to click on apply. Alright, once you're done with this, let's jump straight into the next steps. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, so the next step I highly recommend you go ahead and do is this over here. You're going to go to your drivers over here and make sure that you have the latest drivers installed on your machine. Just click on check for updates if you have GeForce Experience like me. Then just go ahead and download the latest drivers for your graphics card. It plays a very big role inside this game and you need to keep your drivers up to date. It doesn't matter if you're an AMD user or an Nvidia user, it plays a very big role inside your game. Please go ahead and update your graphics card drivers. Alright, let's jump straight into the next step. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, as you can see, I'm in my Windows settings like this. Just go to your Windows settings and come inside here. This plays a very big role inside your game. You're going to click on the gaming over here and then go to game mode. Now, for a lot of people out there that has been complaining and leaving comments and social media platforms and stuff like that, people are complaining on putting this on or off. They don't know what to do here. Now, I'm just going to say this out loud so people can understand this. If you're running a Ryzen machine with an AMD graphics card, or you're running an Intel machine with an AMD graphics card, or you're running Intel with an Nvidia graphics card, all those weird combinations. It's going to depend on the machine that you're running if you're going to put this on or off. But for most people out there, 95% of the people that's gaming right now on gaming machines, I highly recommend you go ahead and turn this on because it's going to help with stuttering in the game and then also frame loss inside the game as well. Go ahead and turn this on. From here, you're going to go to graphics settings and you can make sure that your hardware accelerated GPU scheduling is turned off. If yours is turned on and you turn it off, it's going to ask you to restart your computer completely, but do that once you are done watching my video. Then you can go ahead and do that. If it's already off, don't worry, just leave it off. It is the best for now. I don't know what's going to happen with Season 4. We'll find out. I will be making a video on that. Don't worry about that. From here, you're going to click on the home button and you're going to go to privacy over here. Scroll all the way down and then go to background apps and you're going to turn this from on to off. I highly recommend you go ahead and do this because it's going to turn all the things off for you that's running in the background and use resources like your RAM, your CPU, and it can also use your VRAM usage, so you don't want that to do that, so go ahead and turn this off. It's much more complicated on Windows 11 if you are a Windows 11 user. Just Google how to turn these things off because you have to turn them off or disable them individually. I'm not going to go in depth with this, okay? Just turn this off. Google how to do it on Windows 11. You are the reason why you have Windows 11, not me. So, yeah. Anyways, ladies and gentlemen, just turn this off. This plays a very big role inside your game as well because it uses resources that you don't want it to be using. Right, from here you're going to click on the home button and then from here you're going to go to apps and then make sure that you uninstall all the unnecessary bullshit that's on your machine, that you have on your machine that you do not need. The fuller your machine is full of bullshit, the slower your machine's going to run. Especially if you're running your games on a hard drive and stuff like that, I highly recommend you go ahead and uninstall all the bullshit of your machine that you don't need. Okay, these things are very important. Do not uninstall them, do not touch them. Just games in general or bullshit that takes up space, please go ahead and uninstall them. You do not need it, okay? If you're playing single player games that you haven't played in years or whatever and it's still on your machine, go ahead and uninstall it. Free up some space and it will actually help you. Alright, let's jump straight into the next step. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, so the next step I highly recommend you go ahead and do is this over here for random crashes to your desktop or just in errors that your machine is giving you. You can fix it by doing this. You're going to go to your search button over here and you're going to type in CMD and then right click on it and say run as administrator and then just say yes to the prompt over here and then this is going to open up for you. You're going to type in SFC space / scan now, one word, press enter, and it's going to scan your machine for corrupt files. Now, Windows will automatically fix the corrupt files that's on your machine if you're running Windows 11 or Windows 10. Make sure you go ahead and do this. It's a very important step for you to go ahead and do. Please go ahead and do it because Windows will automatically then fix the problems that's happening on your machine. Alright, let's jump straight into the next step. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, so the next 3 steps, it's very, very important for you to go ahead and do each and every day or each and every once a week or whatever the case might be. Please go ahead and do this because a lot of people don't do this at all, but it plays a very big role on your Windows machine. Please go ahead and do these 3 steps. You're going to press the Windows key and R, delete everything inside here and type in temp just like this and press enter. You're going to click on anything inside here. If you have a lot of stuff inside here, press Ctrl and A to highlight everything, press delete on your keyboard and say do this on all current items and say continue. Once this is done, you're just going to click cancel because Windows is currently using this over here and you're just going to close out of this. Alright, so you're going to press the Windows key and R once more and then this time you're going to type in percentage temp percentage, so shift 5 temp shift 5. okay? And then press enter, and you're going to open this up. You're going to click on anything inside here, press Control and A to highlight everything, press delete on your keyboard, and then say do this on all current items, and say try again, just so it deletes everything. Say do this on all current items, and say skip, and delete everything inside here. It plays a very, very big role for your machine. Trust me on this. And then you're just going to close out of this, let it delete everything. You're going to press the Windows key and R once more, and then this time you're going to type in prefetch, just like this, and press enter, and then click on anything inside here, Control and A, delete on your keyboard, and then just do this for all current items and say skip, because Windows is currently running this file over here. And then you're going to go to your recycling bin, which is on my other screen. I'm just going to move this over here, right click on it and say empty recycling bin, and say yes. You might delete like 40 gigs to 50 gigs to 100 gigs to 200 gigs of bullshit. Please go ahead and do that. If you haven't done this already, please go ahead and do this. The more you do this, the less shit you'll have inside there, and I highly recommend you go ahead and do that. Alright, let's jump straight into the game, and let me show you the best settings you can use right now for the latest updates. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, as you can see in my game right now, I'm doing about 125 FPS, 126 FPS, 130 FPS as max. Now, I do less FPS in the menu over here because I'm using OBS to do recordings, and it's obviously using my graphics card as well. When I don't record, I do about 140 to 145, almost 150 in the selection screen for your gameplay. Now, something I want to point out is this. If you go to this little gear icon over here and go to settings, you go to patch notes, you can go and select which one you want to see, what they brought out for the game itself. If you want to go in depth with this, you can go over here and see what happened over here, like what is inside here, what did they fix, what did they break, and all that bullshit. As you all know, they always just break this game more and more and more. Like, they'll say stuff like bug fixes, but these things don't ever get fixed. It's a bunch of fucking bullshit, and I highly recommend you don't even go and read that shit, because I do that for you in any ways. And that's why I make these videos, to help the Call of Duty community, is to go through all that nonsense for you so you don't have to. So it takes a lot of time and dedication making these videos for you guys. So please, for the love of fuck, smash that motherfucking like button. Please make like at least 5,000 likes. I would appreciate it, because I will make you guys an intense, in-depth Season 4 video. Leave a like on this video. Let's smash that 5k likes. 5,000 likes, and I'll be making an intense depth video for Season 4 that's going to be released in a couple of days. I am excited about it because I actually want to see what they're going to bring out for Season 4 and what is all new inside the new season. Alright, so the first thing you're going to need to do is just go to this little gear icon over here, and you're going to go to graphics. You're going to come inside here where it says quality, and then obviously you're going to have this a custom, because you're going to customize the upscaling and sharpening inside your game. Now right now at this very moment, I'm using the Intel upscaling and on ultra quality, 90% on the memory scale, normal, high, high, and high. Okay, now the reason why I'm using this is because the game looks like a AAA title game, and it doesn't look all foggy, the trees don't look fucked up, and a lot of people are experiencing that, where they are losing FPS and the game looks like absolute dog shit. Now, if you are running a higher end machine than me, I highly recommend you go ahead and use this upscaling. It makes the game look really good. I'm running a 9700K overclocked, RTX 2060 overclocked, and 16 gigs of RAM overclocked as well, with shortened timing on the memory itself. My game looks fantastic. It runs perfectly fine with my machine. If you have anything higher than mine, please go ahead and use this upscaling. You won't regret it. The game looks really, really good. You will not do the best of FPS. No, you won't. But it's more than enough. It's more than enough to play. Trust me, it's more than enough. Now, for people out there that's using different upscalings, like for instance, people are using Nvidia DLSS. The reason why I don't use Nvidia DLSS right now at this very moment is because it gives me blur effects on the left and right hand side of my screen. For instance, what happens is when I run, the left and right hand side of my screen blurs. I don't like that. Now, people are going to leave a comment down below, most likely saying, yo dude, I'm using Nvidia DLSS and it looks perfectly fine. Now, not everyone has the exact same machine, not everyone has the exact same GPU, CPU, RAM, whatever the case might be. Some people are going to use this upscaling and the game's going to look perfectly fine. If you are running Nvidia DLSS, if you are running this option over here, this upscaling, go with quality, okay? If your machine can't handle quality perfectly fine and you don't really care about the blurriness and you want more FPS out of Nvidia DLSS, I highly recommend going to balance. Keep this at 100%. Yet again, it's your own personal preference on the sharpening over here. It's your own personal preference depending on your screen and how you play your game. But just keep this at 90%. Keep this at normal. Keep this at high, and at high over here. Alright, from here, when people are using, for instance, Nvidia image scaling, I highly recommend you keep this at native and at 10 over here. This makes the game look really, really good. This is a really, really good upscaling and sharpening for people out there that's running Nvidia graphics cards. Okay, if you're running a decent enough Nvidia graphics card, I highly recommend you go ahead and use this. Alright, so there's something very, very important I want to just put out there. If you are using Nvidia image scaling and you're using it on native, which means you're running your screen's resolution, 720p, 1080p, 1440p, 2K, 4K, whatever the fuck resolution you're playing your game at, the native is going to push it to that resolution of your screen. Okay, have this at 10. It's the best that I've seen so far is 10 on laptops, other PCs, friends of mine's PCs, my PC. 10 is the best upscaling. You could play around with it yet again. It's your own personal preference. But then you're going to need to do this. It's going to be a have to do. Alright, anti-analyzing, Formic SMAA T2 times to make the game not look jagged. Okay, anti-analyzing quality, ultra quality. Please go ahead and do that. Something that plays a very, very big role on this over here, if you're running Nvidia image scaling and you don't have the best of graphics cards, like you have a 1660 or something like that, I don't recommend putting this at 90% of VRAM usage. Maybe put it at 80 or 75. You can literally just type it inside here like this and press enter, and then go ahead and put it like this. Don't put it at 90% if you have less than 6 gigs of VRAM. Please don't push it up to 90%. You might get little stutters and stuff like that, and then you're going to say my video isn't working. Trust me, my video does work. All my settings, I take a lot of time and dedication to find out what you need to do with specific GPUs, specific CPUs, specific machines. Okay? Please go ahead and do this setting over here where it's 75 to maybe even 70. Go ahead and do that if you're running anything in that range of GPUs. Please go ahead and do that. Okay, then what you're going to need to do is keep this at normal, high, and high. These three over here always needs to stay at high, otherwise your game's going to look like absolute dog shit, and I don't recommend that you go ahead and do that. Alright, from here, you're going to go to the upscaling again. A lot of people are using AMD FSR 1.0, and it doesn't matter if you are running an Nvidia graphics card. You can still use AMD FSR. Use AMD FSR and then keep this at Formic SMA 2 times so you don't get jagged edges. If your machine can't handle this correctly and you are Call of Duty fanatic and you're a Call of Duty player and you want to play the game but you are losing a lot of FPS, then you can change this to SMAAT 2 times. You can do that, and you can change this to normal. You can do that as well, and then change this to about 65. I recommend this. I really recommend this if your machine can't handle this game correctly. Then go down and go to normal to low. The game would still look perfectly fine. It won't look like that. It will still look like this. Just make sure you have these three over here at high. Please go ahead and do that. Now, for people out there that's using the AMD FSR 2.1, I don't recommend using this option. I don't even want to go over it. It's not a good upscaling. It really isn't. Maybe there's one or two people out there that's going to comment down below saying, yo dude, I'm using this. If you are using this and you're getting good enough FPS with this upscaling and your game looks good for some reason, then I highly recommend that you keep this at quality over here. And then push the video memory scale at least a little bit up to about 75 and press enter and leave it like this if you are using AMD FSR 2.1. From here, there's one more upscaling, which is Fidelity FX Cache. A lot of people are still recommending Fidelity FX Cache right now at this very moment with all the updates, GPU drivers, the game updating, everything. A lot of people are still using this upscaling. It's a very good upscaling if you're using a low tier to a mid tier machine. Please go ahead and use this. Okay, if you're running low to mid tier, please go ahead and use this. This game looks perfectly fine with this upscaling, and your gameplay will be smooth as well. I know a lot of people that's actually using really decent machines and still using Fidelity FX Cache because it gives you the best sharpening in the game and the best upscaling in the game as well, and you can see your enemies much easier. Now it's going to depend on your specific machine on what you're going to choose inside here. Like I said, I'm using this to make my game look like a AAA title game with my specific machine. So if you have anything like mine or anything higher, go with this, make this to 90%, change this to normal, high, high, and high. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, let's jump straight into the next things that you're going to need to change in this game that plays a very big role on the game itself, and you're going to need to have these settings set like this. Alright, clutch draw distance, short, particle quality, low, particle quality level, very low. Bullet impacts and sprays is just a normal thing since the first Call of Duty Warzone. Keep it on. It doesn't impact FPS. It doesn't impact your GPU or your VRAM or your CPU or your RAM or anything. It doesn't impact nothing. You can keep it on. Damage layers is your own personal preference if you want to see that or not. I leave mine off. I don't need it. Shader quality plays a very big role inside this game. Do not push this too high. It's an FPS hogger. If you're already struggling with FPS, don't push this up too high. Leave it at low. The game looks exactly the same. Your character looks the same. Your gun looks the same. There's no difference. If you change this from low to high, you might see a little bit better quality on your gun. But do you really want that? Then more FPS? No. Just go to low. Tessellation, off, always off. Don't put this the fuck on. Leave it off. On-demand texture streaming is an entire video on its own, and I'm not going to go over this because I don't even use it myself. Turn it off. You don't need it. Streaming quality, low. You do not need this. Volumetric quality, low. I know back in the day I used to put this at medium, but right now with all the updates and all that bullshit that this game comes out with, and then it breaks the fucking game, put it at low. You do not need this. Physics, off. Okay? Not low, not high, off. You do not need to see the physics in this fucking game because it's already broken. It's unoptimized. Turn it off. Water quality. This is the most ridiculous stuff I've ever seen in Call of Duty brought out ever in their entire life. Because number one, you would only want this if you're playing co-op missions or you're playing this games like, I don't know, it's episodes, like episode 1, 2, and 3 and shit like that. Then you can go ahead and turn these things on. Then the game looks good while you are playing with a friend or a couple of friends or by yourself or whatever the case might be, single player. But when you're playing multiplayer, like just Warzone, go to default. Do not go to water acoustics. Wave wetness. For the love of fuck, why would you want to see how wet the wave is? Water is already wet. What the actual fuck, Activision? Anyways, turn this to default, leave it there, and don't touch it. Okay, these play a very, very big role on this game. And you don't need them at all. You do not need them. Very low on shadow map resolution, screen space shadows, off. Spot shadow quality, low. Spot cache, high right now. At this very moment, with all the updates, high. It helps with stuttering. Go ahead and change this to high. Particle lighting, low. Ambient occlusion, off. Off, always off. Don't touch this fucking option. Please don't. You do not need this in a multiplayer game. There's a lot of options over here, and you can still go into show more to do these things. You do not fucking need this. Turn it off. You do not need it, okay? Screen space reflections, off. Static reflection quality, low. Weather grid volumes, off. For the love of fuck, why would you want to see the weather in the game? Why? You are not here for the scenery, you are here to play the game, okay? Awesome. Turn it the fuck off. Nvidia reflex low latency on plus boost always has been a thing and will always be a thing. I'm pretty sure with the new season, it will also still be on plus boost, okay? Depth of field off. World motion blur off, weapon motion blur off, turn it off. All three of these things you do not need. You don't need it. It's going to eat your FPS. It's going to make your game look like dog shit. Don't use it. Film grain, I've seen a lot of people change this to their own personal preference, so I guess this is your own personal preference. I have mine at 0.00. Once you're done with this, you're going to apply these settings, and then from here, this is the most important step you're going to need to do, is this over here. But let me show you something else that a lot of people might not have seen if you are new to my video. You're going to come over here to interface and go to color customization and go to filter 2. Do not have this on none. Go to filter 2, go to both, 100%, 100%, scroll all the way down and click on enemy and then choose your own personalized color for your enemy. It actually helps a lot while you are playing this game. So I pin my enemies and then you just say apply custom color. I pin my enemies and they are actually pink. They're basically magenta, but it's so easy to see them. You're going to have your own personal color here. Trust me, it's going to be your own personal color that you're going to use here. I know a lot of people is going to choose their own personal color. Once you are done with that, this is the most important step that you're going to need to take after applying all of these settings for these settings to work. You're going to go over here. You're going to come to display settings and you click on restart shader optimization so it can apply all of these settings that you just changed now. Now for people out there that's leaving me comments saying, yo dude, why do you have this at 2.4 and why don't you have it at 2.2? The reason why I have it at 2.4 is because the color pops even more on my screen, and that's why I have this over here. So if you followed my video from the beginning with the Nvidia settings, the quality settings, all those things, I have mine at 2.4. Try it out, okay? If you want to go 2.2, it's your own personal preference. It's literally your own personal preference over here. Over here, you're going to click on Restart Shader Optimization, restart this, restart your entire game, quit out of it, quit your desktop, and restart your game. Then at the top over here, it's going to say installing shaders, let it finish. Once it's done, you should be good to go. Sometimes the shaders get stuck at, I don't know, a weird percentage, which would be 99, 89, some weird ass shit. It will just get stuck there. Don't worry, just click into your game and play. It will automatically go away. It's a Call of Duty bug. Call of Duty is basically a bug. It doesn't have bugs. It is a bug. Alright? It's completely fucked. Let's just put it like that. Ladies and gentlemen, if this worked for you, leave a like, leave a comment, subscribe to my YouTube channel if you are new here, and as always, hit that 5,000 fucking likes, and as always, peace